Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
I had quite a commentary on the state of affairs. You lose 6 straight times in the first round. You lose over and over again the first round. And nothing is going to be different. Nothing's different. They're going to bring back the same team president, the same GM, the same coach, and the same core of players. Now, how does that make sense?
Whoops.
Yeah. It's actually amazing that through all this, Roddy, it almost feels like the way that Dubas and Shanahan spoke yesterday, like, we're so close. We're so close. We didn't lose as badly this year as we have in other years. The benchmark, these people seem to think, is getting through the first round. It is so puzzling. It's bizarre. It's baffling. It's actually bordering on pure delusion that they feel doing the same thing, running the whole thing back, bringing the same cast of characters again, is going to make all the difference. And the reality is that it's not, because it's proven that it's not. You often talk about track record and precedent and the rest. I have a hard time believing that MLSE is going to continue with this, but I just don't know who Brendan Shanahan reports to anymore. I don't know who's in charge anymore, but they just feel that what they're doing is going to work, and yet every spring it doesn't work.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show. Good morning, Rod Squad.
Maybe tomorrow I'll tell you guys about the big game that I went to in San Antonio with Snoop Dogg. Remember that one, Clark? The Lakers and Spurs? Snoop Dogg and I went, Bob.
How about that?
Snoop Dogg was sitting courtside. I was up in the nosebleeds, but we were in the arena at the same time. I was there with him.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
It absolutely is. Happy Monday, everybody. Great to be here in this business. Great to be anywhere. Welcome to the RP Show. A very special episode today. Episode number 777. That's right, 777. Coming to you from hot and steamy South Florida and from the NHL's Bermuda Triangle as we welcome in our lovely and talented co-host and president of the whole shooting match, Darren Moose DuPont, as we crack the lid on a brand new week. Our guest coming up today, Broadway Bernie Nicholls, as we preview the Stanley Cup Final, which opens Wednesday, and Eddie Steele, a good and longtime friend of mine, Grey Cup champion, to talk a little CFL. Hey, Moose, what's shaking? Happy Monday. How was the weekend?
Happy Monday. Great weekend. It was awesome. Spent it up in Saskatoon. And apparently, episode 777, I got to go buy a lottery ticket or spin the slots or something like that today. Congratulations. How was your weekend?
It was good. You know, we don't do the Monday morning photo album anymore, but I really feel most Mondays like we should. Just do it for spits and giggles, you know, because it was real fun. It was real fun. Went by Mar-a-Lago on Sunday afternoon. That is now the permanent residency of Donald J. Trump. But and I think about that viewer in Burlington, Ontario. I can't remember his name, but remember he wrote in last week and he's like, if the host is going to talk about Trump, I'm gone. And I'm like, see you later, dude. And he never came back. I admire that, man. He's a man of his word. I'm tooling around Mar-a-Lago, though, on Sunday. Trump wasn't there, just so you know. It was a National Historic Site. You know what I mean? It's pretty cool. So did that and tooled around West Palm Beach and weren't anything, just got ready for the Stanley Cup Final, visited with some friends. So those would make some really good photos. Yeah, it was good. I'm glad to hear that you had a good weekend. Now, can we hit the quick six show horn, please, Director Jordan? Let's quit. Let's quit fiddling around here because I got a lot of things that I want to get to, Moose. The buzz is building in Denver where the Colorado Avalanche prepare for their first Stanley Cup Final since 2001. Game 1 Wednesday at Ball Arena, nicknamed the Loud House, will mark the first time the two-time defending champion Tampa Bay Lightning and Avalanche have met in the NHL postseason. Colorado swept the Oilers, as we know, in the Western Conference Final. Tampa Bay disposed of the Rangers in 6. Reading the NHL's public relations feed this morning, they said, dream matchup, the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Colorado Avalanche. And I'm like the character in Shoresy, settle down. It's not a dream matchup unless you're the fans of the Avalanche and the Lightning. Am I right?
Yeah, I think, you can always try and draw storylines to make it a dream matchup, and the NHL will do that. I think it's going to be entertaining. I think, the dream matchup is that you've got Tampa Bay trying to win 3 in a row. They're, the modern day dynasty, unbelievable, high skill too, and they're a great goaltender. And then you've got the explosive Avalanche. So I think from a skill perspective, lots of stars, lots of name value in a Stanley Cup final. So that's good.
I didn't say it's a bad matchup. I'm just saying it's not a dream matchup. I mean, going into the year, we weren't drooling going, oh, Tampa Bay, Colorado. Sure hope it's Tampa Bay, Colorado. I mean, we're kind of getting tired of the Lightning. And again, I'm reading the morning skate, as they call it. And trust me, I love it. NHL's my favorite league. You never forget your first, Moose, and that was the first league I ever fell in love with. There's 5 Lightning that have never won the Stanley Cup before. Off the top of my head, Nick Paul, Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, Brandon Hagel. There's 3 of them. Corey Perry is appearing in his 3rd straight Stanley Cup final with his 3rd different team. Dallas, Montreal, and Tampa for Corey Perry. The only other guy to do that in NHL history is Marian Hossa. That's what the public address announcer used to call him.
How about
when he
that?
played for the Winterhawks. Right, and I was there. So I'm not down on it. We got a lot of friends with the Tampa Bay organization. I'm just saying Vegas, Florida might have a little more chutzpah and pizzazz, but we're going to be watching anyways. And our poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center is this. Who are you cheering for in the Stanley Cup Final? It's very simple. Colorado or Tampa Bay. And the last I saw, 62% on Twitter saying they would be cheering for the Colorado Avalanche. And I'm sure there's a lot of reasons for that, not the least of which is Tampa Bay's won it the last 2 years. We invite you to vote on that poll over the next 24 hours. Now, moving on. I've got my hockey in 1A, 1B, 1C, Moose. You don't know this is coming. In a story just straight out of Saskatchewan. You know those T-shirts straight out of Compton? This is sauce, straight out of Saskatchewan. I get a text on the weekend that Barry Trotz was in a gas station in Swift Current, Saskatchewan, ran into some junior hockey players there in the gas station. I want to say this was about Saturday morning, and said he was on his way to Winnipeg to take the job as head coach of the Winnipeg Jets.
Hot damn!
And, right. So I'm like, again, and I've seen out a letter, Kenny. Couldn't you see it? Barry Trotz is at the pouring coffee at a gas station, and these 2 junior hockey players are there, and they get talking, and they're, what are you doing, Trotzy? Oh, I'm going to Winnipeg to take the Jets job. Should we believe that? Or if you read my column this weekend, I'm like, I don't even know if I want to be in the insider business or not, because I get flamed for all the news that I report. So what do you think about that?
I think that's awesome. I really do. I think that's hockey, man. That's hockey. That's small town hockey. The fact that, he's, first of all, driving to Winnipeg. What do
you think he should
not my first.
Oh,
He should be flying into Winnipeg. Not my first choice. But I've taken that drive. But that's hockey guys that like being on the road and getting the gas station. I can just see it, picking up the coffee, probably got the talk radio on or the country music station or whatever Barry's into. And he's going to Winnipeg. And it's just Saskatchewan guys, man. I love it.
Oh, it's unbelievable. It's funny you say that, and I could sit and talk about this forever. Again, I'm here in South Florida where there are hockey fans, but they're not dyed-in-the-wool hockey fans. But I try and just tell them about the NHL's Bermuda Triangle, where we're from and where you are. Once I left the Rough Riders and started to have a life and go out to the lakes in the summertime, and I would be running into all the hockey guys at the lakes, and they're like, oh, it's weird not listening to you on the Rider game. The Mike Babcocks, the Tippetts, the Simpsons, the Mansons, Chico Resch, for God's sakes. You never know who's driving through Saskatchewan in the summertime, and I was always the guy on the radio. Right? So it was all the hockey guys. So it's really not that hard to believe that Barry Trotz would run into some junior hockey players in a gas station in Swift Current. But I didn't tweet it because I'm like, hey, I don't want this to go sideways. I'll just wait until we get on national television on Monday morning and drop it then, or afternoon in the East. So, yeah, take that for whatever you want. 1C, point 1C, out of Hamilton. Mason McTavish's second goal of the afternoon early in the third period proved to be the winner Sunday as the Hamilton Bulldogs edged the Windsor Spitfires 3-2 in Game 5 of the Ontario Hockey League Championship. Thanks to a 3-2 overtime win in Windsor on Friday, the Bulldogs now are up 3-2. They're one win away from the Memmer, which will be played in St. John, New Brunswick, June 20th to the 29th. Game 6 tonight in Windsor. Seventh game, if needed, will go Wednesday in the Hammer. And the WHL final could end tonight as well. Game 6 in Edmonton, Rogers Place. The Oil Kings can't seem to close the door, Moose, on the Seattle Thunderbirds. So Game 6 tonight, Edmonton leading 3-2. So it is a little strange, mid-June talking about this, but I like it.
I love it. It's so great. And I'm watching the games on the weekend. Like, I think, that Edmonton-Seattle game was maybe at or near the top of my viewing list. Like, I was watching that game and it was great. And the arena in Edmonton was full, or at least it looked full. They had the lower bowl, it looked like sold out, and probably most of the upper bowl. It looked awesome. The crowd was there. The game was great, and it was a lot of fun. So, Kevin Sawyer was on the call of the game. So I had a lot of fun, and I hope I'm going to watch the game tonight too.
Our hockey coverage, NHL, WHL, OHL, you name it, brought to you by Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. They also bring you Rod's Rants. To schedule maintenance or to learn more about our services, call 306-781-2090 or visit their website, broncoplumbing.com. Guys, tell Camco we were talking about him today in the warm-up, and there'll be some nervous Nellies there. A lot of Avalanche fans working at Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Moving on to point 2, CFL Week 1 buzz. That's what I have. And there's a lot. Here's your scores. Calgary beat Montreal 30-27. Last-minute field goal win there. Winnipeg beat Ottawa as they raised a banner Friday night in Winnipeg. Blue Bombers won 19-17. Another last-minute field goal win. And then a doubleheader on Saturday. Saskatchewan beating Hamilton 30-13. And I couldn't stay up, and I'm kind of glad that I didn't. Saw the score the next morning. I'm like, the BC Lions destroyed Chris Jones, Edmonton Elks 59-15. Moose, I talked to the CFL yesterday. Everything's great. They appreciate the coverage. They said, use our photos, whatever you need. We're here for you. And that was a great feeling. I was on the Ticats official audio network this morning. We were recording it. I thought it was live, but we were recording it. Me, Dave Naylor, Matt Cause, TSN personalities, Bubba O'Neill from Global Television in Hamilton, or CHCH. It's like the Mafia, Moose. I try to get out. They keep pulling me back in. I got to think the CFL's happy about Week 1 and what went down in the games.
I think they are. Yeah, it was incredibly exciting. And that was the capper, and it was the best story, I think, was Nathan Rourke. 5 touchdowns in the game, almost 300 yards passing. He threw 3, ran for 2 more, not just little 1-yard sneaks. I think the one was a 17-yard touchdown run. To have a Canadian show up and play like that in that building, that atmosphere was the best of the weekend too, right? It was full. It was awesome. At least the lower bowl was.
Well,
and a good chunk of the upper bowl was starting to get some seats in there. So I thought it looked great on TV, and the game was good.
I feel like we need to back Nathan Rourke was the story of the week. Well, he's the quarterback of the BC Lions. I'm sure a lot of our viewers are like, whoa, what? Who? He's new on the scene. So, and I don't want to steal the thunder or scoop the Ticats Audio Network's podcast, which they'll be dropping within, I would assume, in the next 24 hours. But Naylor and I got in quite a fight over that. David Naylor, the TSN CFL insider, over Nathan Rourke. And I said, the BC Lions get very upset when we refer to him as the Canadian quarterback, Nathan Rourke. And the reason I don't want to scoop ourselves is we got in kind of a heated thing because Matthew Cause is the radio guy on the afternoon show, TSN Radio in Toronto. He's like, Toronto's Nathan Rourke did this. And I'm like, every headline I saw coming out of the weekend was Victoria's Nathan Rourke leads the BC Lions to victory. So I said, what are we going to rip him in half at the waist or up and down, or like who's he belong to here? And then we got in this huge fight over Canadian quarterbacks. Is it an insult? Why is it an insult to refer to somebody as a Canadian quarterback? So anyways, that's a lot of the talk. And before I move on, because I feel like this is going to come up throughout the show, of course, because as you said in the morning meeting, it's week 1 of the CFL, heading into week 2. Of course, we're going to talk about it. Show airs on Game Plus Television Network, which is anchored out of Toronto, and it is a stone's throw from BMO Field, the Game Plus studios, Anthem Sports. I don't know how many of you watched the V-hit, and Darren and I kicked this around before the show, like how many of our viewers saw Simone Lawrence, the Ticats linebacker, hitting, my God, my favorite pro football player. I like Cody Fajardo even more than Tom Brady, the quarterback of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. I love him. But Simone Lawrence hit him right here in the back of the neck. And thank God Cody was fine, probably because he plays on God's team, and I mean on Team God. That's why he was fine. But I'm saying Simone Lawrence running around, hitting quarterbacks in the head. It's not new. And I saw the panelist, David Sanchez, going, well, the other defender had his hand on Simone. It wasn't really... He knew what he was doing, okay? Stop. This isn't the first time that he's done it. He's a head-hunting linebacker. And as long as the CFL doesn't do anything about it, we have a phrase in the recovery world that says, nothing changes if nothing changes. As long as Simone Lawrence is able to run around and hit quarterbacks in the head, he scrambled Zach Caleros' notes. Thank God he came back to play and become the top player in the league. But Darren, do you think Thursday, Simone Lawrence will be hearing of a fine for the Hamilton linebacker for his hit on Cody Fajardo?
Yeah, I could see it. I don't think we'll see a suspension. I think we could see a fine for sure. It wasn't as bad as some of the other hits he's had, obviously. The direct hits to heads that have knocked players out. I mean, Cody never got knocked out, so that's a good thing. But it could have been, and it was really close to that, and that's why I think it's probably worthy of a small fine. But yeah, it's tough because when you see a quarterback in a vulnerable spot, we're trying to protect them, right? Without quarterbacks in the game, viewership goes down. It's that simple. We have to protect the quarterbacks at all costs.
Point 3, Brooke Henderson capped a brilliant Sunday by winning her 11th LPGA Tour. The 24-year-old from Smiths Falls, Ontario, eagled the first playoff hole and beat Lindsay Weaver-Wright of Wade Hill, Ohio, in the 54-hole ShopRite LPGA Classic. So way to go, Brooke. She's just so awesome. Rory McIlroy won the RBC Open on Sunday and gave the PGA Tour a strong response to the start of the Saudi-funded LIV Golf Invitational, closing with an 8-under 62 to win a wild race to the finish with Justin Thomas and Tony Finau. And one more, point 4, and then we'll pause. Vladdy homered. Ross Stripling pitched one-hit ball for 6 innings, and the Toronto Blue Jays went on to beat the Detroit Tigers 6-0 on Sunday. The Blue Jays took 2 of 3 from Detroit, giving them 13 victories in their past 17 games. The surging Jays return home tonight to open a 4-game series against the Baltimore Orioles at Rogers Center. We'll pick up with the rest of the Quick Six when we come back. On the way today, BetRegal NHL Ambassador Bernie Nicholls and CFL great Eddie Steele. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus Television Network. We're live streaming on YouTube as well, of course, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpeterson.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Peterson Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Peterson Show now.
Every kitchen is a restaurant-ish. With Cavendish Farms restaurant-style fries.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Number 16. A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at BetRegal.net.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG. Always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Brand new week, episode number 777 coming your way from South Florida. And we're brought to you in part by Taco Time, real food, real value, real flavor. Taco Time has over 120 locations across Canada. That means there's always one near you. I'm going to jump into the viewer comments in a minute. I'm just going to read a couple more sports items, and then we'll bring in the Moose as well. Point 5 of my quick 6 show topics. The NBA Finals took the weekend off, but Game 5 of the Best of 7 championship goes tonight at the Chase Center in San Francisco. The Celtics and Golden State Warriors are all tied up 2-2. And point 6, Max Verstappen extended his Formula One championship lead Sunday with a victory in the Azerbaijan Grand Prix after Charles Leclerc retired from the lead with an engine failure. Lewis Hamilton complained of severe back pain after finishing 4th, which could put a damper on the upcoming Canadian Grand Prix in Montreal. And I have in notes here NLL, CEBL, CHL as well. We'll get to that in the sports update. If we can bring the Moose in, I think you finished watching Drive to Survive, Moose. Is Max Verstappen the Wayne Gretzky of Formula One racing? Because why would I watch it? He's winning every race. It's not a lot of drama there from what I can see.
Yeah, I think Max Verstappen is the Connor McDavid of
the current
Formula One racing. I think Lewis Hamilton might be the Wayne Gretzky, or at least of the past little bit. Lewis Hamilton would used to win all the time, right? At least recently, and then you go all the way back to the Schumachers and stuff like that. But I think Verstappen is the new guy. He's killing it.
Yeah, I'm new to the thing. But it seems like every time I'm reading it, and if I'm around the television on a Sunday morning, I will watch the F1, but he's always winning. It's not that interesting. Somebody needs to run him out into the ditch. That's right. Somebody needs to run him. Isn't that how we do it? Oh, and by the way, The guy is back. I'm not going to give you his last name, but Mark in Burlington, who said, if the host of the Rod Pedersen Show brings up Donald Trump, I'm never watching again. He's back.
Hoorah!
Right. He's watching today in Burlington, Ontario. I knew it. Good afternoon, Mark. Thanks for joining us. Stephen Jacobson's watching in North Dakota, where he drives across the line into Estevan and eats at Taco Time on Kensington Avenue. He says, it is not necessary to wait until July 1st or 4th. The RP show often lights fireworks fuses. I don't think there's been anything overly explosive this morning. Maybe you know this, Moose. Brad is texting in from Swifty, and he says, hey, fellas, Brad here in Swift Current. Kind of curious why the Oil Kings get 5 home games. Love the show. Thanks. I got to do the math here. Did they go 2? They didn't go 2-3-2. What did they do with that series?
Are you... Well, I thought it was 2-3-2. I thought the games the last 2 are in Seattle.
No, but game 5 was in Edmonton. Unless I completely botched it. Clark. Producer Clark is talking in our ear about thank you for that, Clark, that it was 2-2-3. I think for the first time in WHL history. Does that sound 2-2-3?
Okay.
And there was a lot of controversy around it. There's always controversy around that. I'm not sure I want to get into that today. It reminds me, watch your feet, guys, because I'm going to drop some names.
Hell yes.
But the 1979 or 80 Stanley Cup Final, whichever was the Islanders' first. We're talking 40-some years ago here, okay? So forgive me if I have it wrong, but Clark Gillies said the National Hockey League changed the format of the Stanley Cup Final in the middle of it to favor the Canadiens. That's what Clark thought. And our good friend Clarkie passing away in January, as you know, he took that one to the grave. He never got over it. Which the Islanders ended up coming back to win, if I have that correct. But you're never going to make everybody happy, right? Back to Ricky Nelson. How much do you know about this? Because I'm looking at the results of the games and the locales, Darren, and going, I don't really know what's going on here, but it's not going to keep me up at night. But it seems like it's keeping some people up at night.
I know. I don't know enough about it, and I want to go and look into it and check it out. All I know is I watched the game on Saturday night. It was in Edmonton, and the building was packed, and the game was great. That's what. And
tonight's game's in Edmonton, so that's 5-6-7, 2-2-3. Like Clark said. Thank you, Clark. He's not just a pretty face, our producer. Daryl is watching in Sherwood Park, Alberta, the home of Sam Steele. And Daryl says, you shall not talk about the Elks versus Lions game. Well, I wish that were a fact. But Cole in Nanaimo, BC, is watching on Game Plus television right now, and he wants us to talk about it. And he writes in and says, hey, guys, I know it's week 1, and it's only the Elks. And I'm sure you're tired of hearing about Nathan Rourke already, but what was your impressions of his play, and what do you expect from him moving forward? And a couple things on that. Number 1, I joined a Twitter space this morning, Darren. Are you familiar with this? Twitter.
I am.
Are you
How was
familiar?
your first experience?
It's not overly new, but it's new to me. And so this Cole, I was invited into a Twitter space for CFL fans, and why the heck not? There's rules to it, you know. You have to be polite, you have to be kind, you can't be a jerk. And I'm like, I think I can follow those rules. So they're promoting our show on there, and they want us to talk about the CFL there, and I think that's a pretty good thing. And it's actually funny because one day I was at Theo Fleury's house. Again, watch your feet. I'm going to drop some names here. I don't want to break any toes. And Theo's got his phone out like this. And I'm like, what are you doing, Theo? He goes, well, it's this cool thing. I'm in this Twitter space. I'm like, what is it? They're talking about Trudeau in here. And I'm like, not interested. I'm not. I don't want to talk about Trudeau. I get enough of Trudeau. But if it's for CFL fan stuff and it's positive and it's to promote the CFL, or for that matter, Stanley Cup or junior hockey or any of the things that we're into, I'm here for it. So thank you for inviting us into the CFL fans Twitter space, which now I'm part of, and I would invite you to be part of it, Darren. Nathan Rourke. Cool. Ohio Bobcat alum. We had him on the show, and he seems like another Joe Burrow. He's not the next Joe Burrow, but I'm just saying he's very mature, stoic, serious. He seems like the kind of quarterback you want leading your football team. And Colton Nanaimo wants to know what we thought. You extolled his virtues here. Yeah, 5 touchdowns. I don't care that it's only against Edmonton. Like, we can sit and kick this around as much. You can only beat who's in front of you. So they kicked their ass. That's Edmonton's problem, not BC's problem. Like, 34,000 and change, Darren, at BC Place, went home happy. Maybe they won't have a problem paying the $68 if they had fun. Right? Everything went their way that night, and for a team that hasn't had much go their way for about a decade, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, and we should be okay with it. I mean, it's great. And when a quarterback like that can bring in some local fans or that tie, and he plays really well, that gets the fans excited. So in that game, it was really important for BC to play well and engage that 34,000 people, right? And they did that. So hopefully they'll come back. And for Rourke, you know, I thought he was really mobile. I thought he was calm and poised. He completed a high percentage of his passes, so he was clean. You know, he made great decisions, didn't really turn the ball over. And there's been worse teams in the CFL than the Edmonton Elks that we're watching, right? But this is the biggest lead that BC has ever had at the half of any game, ever. So it was more about how great BC played than how bad Edmonton played.
Fair. And everybody was on Jones and whatever. People were tweeting me Saturday night going, can we get some Chris Jones impressions on this? We only do Chris Jones impressions that are positive. Hockey guy texting me. He says the format's 2-2-3 for the WHL final. The last 3 games in Edmonton, the Showware Center in Kent, Washington booked for graduation ceremonies. Seattle is the designated home team for Game 6 tonight. Oh, sure. How that'll go over in Edmonton. So they get to come out to their own music, which will be rock and roll, Gary Glitter. But everybody's going to be cheering for the Oil Kings. Thank you, hockey guy, for the text on that. Again, the format 2-2-3. Not sure how that one slipped by me. I'm usually on top of this stuff. But trying to stay on top of the NLL and the CEBL and everything else, too. That's no excuse. But before Moose vacates, we got about 4 minutes left in this segment. I do want to do a sports update for the weekend, coming out of the weekend, because the NLL final is going to a Game 3, deciding Game 3. Saskatchewan Rattlers came back, had a 7-point comeback victory at Niagara. I'm just going to read some viewer comments here. Mandy in Edmonton says, was Edmonton that bad or BC that good or a combo? I didn't see the game. I'm shocked. She's the biggest Elks fan that I know. But it was late. I didn't see it either. Just the highlights, and from what I understand, it was a combination of both. Phil Kershaw is watching, the former CFL chairman of the board. He says, so the biggest story of week 1 is Nathan Rourke, but 35,000 plus at BC Place. Huge for the CFL and the future of the franchise. Kudos to new owner Amar Doman. Amar, I did a little reading. I think I said this on the air Friday, Moose, that Amar is saying local ownership. That's the reason for this ignited excitement in BC. He goes, I couldn't be in Vancouver and run the Montreal Alouettes. It's local ownership. I think it's a little more to it than that. But it's fascinating, and I think the fans find it somewhat fascinating, similar to that Winning Time documentary. I'm shocked that you did not finish or even watch a few more episodes of it because it's so good, talking about the Lakers. It's literally like putting a GoPro on Jerry Buss, the owner of the Lakers. And as much as, shouldn't speak ill of the dead, but he's a bit of a sleazeball, this ownership is fascinating because the more you watch that, Darren, you're going to find out people don't really know who the presidents or the owners are, but they're the guys running the show. The buck stops on their desk. And Amar Doman's off to a hell of a start. Hey?
He's off to a great start. And, you see how you continue it. But you're right. It starts at the top, and those guys are the leaders, and success goes through them, and the people that they bring in, and how they treat their employees and all the rest. But great start for BC, and love what Amar's been able to do.
Got some really good comments coming in here today. Ryan in Toronto, watching on YouTube, says CFL Week 1 was great, and I thought the Red Blacks were about to pull off the upset. Drop pass by my guy Jalen Ackland. That sucks. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, I disagree, Darren. The Elks team may be the worst ever. It's like Jones. It's the worst I've seen. From weed and wrestling. I saw.
Chris on the sideline.
People were sending me pictures. From weed and wrestling, he says, press 1 if you think Rob Pedersen, I think he means me, if Rod Pedersen would be awesome to have a beer and shoot the bull with. You are 7 years and 38 days too late on that one. But we can go for a coffee. No more beer in this guy. Moose, we'll see you back in hour 2. Cool?
You got it.
Quick sports update. The National Lacrosse League Finals will have a decisive winner-take-all Game 3 as the Colorado Mammoth came from behind to defeat the Buffalo Bandits at Ball Arena in Denver Saturday night before a loud house crowd of 10,082. The Mammoth scored 5 unanswered goals to take control in the second half and secure the 11-8 victory to force the deciding Game 3. It'll go this upcoming Saturday at KeyBank Center in Buffalo. The Saskatchewan Rattlers came back from 7 down, going into Elam time to defeat the Niagara River Lions 86-81 Sunday in the Canadian Elite Basketball League. Rattlers 3-3, Niagara Falls to 4-3. The Scarborough Shooting Stars of the CEBL started their Western road trip in fine form. They ended the Edmonton Stingers' 4-game win streak with a 78-69 victory at Edmonton Expo Center on Sunday. I'm going to tell you a story about Edmonton Expo Center later. But Glenn Sather said something to me that I almost wet myself on the bench at Edmonton Expo Center in 1997. And the Hamilton Honey Badgers continued their winning streak with an 80-68 road win over the Newfoundland Growlers on Sunday. It marked Hamilton's first ever win over the Growlers. Well, I would hope they're an expansion team. Newfoundland still searching for their first win. This sports update for Ballers Rec Room, your official home of Slow Pitch, open Wednesday to Sunday for the Tap Brewhouse and Drive-Thru Liquor Store and for Red Bull Canada. Red Bull gives you wings. Bernie Nicholls next. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus television network, live across all 10 provinces and 31 U.S. states. Live on YouTube, streaming as well, and you can always catch the podcast wherever you enjoy your podcasts, including Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM-certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Every kitchen is a restaurant. Ish. With Cavendish Farms restaurant-style fries.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse is a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
It is the RP show as we turn our attention to hockey. And we're going to tell you, though, the Taco Time viewer takeover is coming up next segment, so get your questions and comments in. You can fire your questions at Bernie Nicholls with us now, the NHL ambassador for BetRegal, our exclusive betting partner, same as the CFLs as well. Happy Monday, Bernie, and here we are, Colorado, Tampa Bay, opening Game 1 Wednesday in Denver. I suppose this is a matchup we probably shouldn't have been overly surprised by. Are you?
Yeah, no, I really thought they were the best two teams. It should be good. Both series, the last ones were great. I thought Edmonton would maybe go a little farther, but they just didn't have the goaltending. And I think New York surprised a lot of people. But at the end of the day, I think Tampa's the defending Stanley Cup champs for a reason. You're always the champs until you're beaten. No one's beat them yet.
No, and we're running a poll question here. Who are you cheering for? 62% of respondents are saying for Capital Automall Universal Collision Center, they'll be cheering for the Avs. I probably will, too, just to have a new champion. Do you have a rooting interest in this game or this series, Bernie?
I really don't. I really like Nathan McKinnon. You know, I'd like to see him win. Good old Canadian boy. I love the fact that Tampa Bay, 3 years in a row, I always cheer for greatness. I always have. I like to see teams and people do great things. And what Tampa Bay's doing right now, it's special. And it's hard not to root for them. I know there's a lot of people that are going to take Colorado just because Tampa's won it before. But to me, I don't really care who wins. If Colorado win, I'm really happy for Nathan, like I said, and some other guys there. But if Tampa win, I enjoy what they're doing, so I'm good with that too.
I'd like a good series, as would you. I would like a long series. And before we actually look ahead, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about your former team, the Rangers. I saw a graphic on the ESPN broadcast about how young they are. 20, 21, 22. They're like just a little older than a junior team. So are they going to be around for a while, do you think, or is this a flash in the pan?
No, they are, because they got great goaltending. They, like you said, they're young. They got a great coach. I think the directions is really good. This will help them for next year, moving forward. They say you got to lose before you can win, and they had a great series, and it was tough. You watch the boys, and then to this day, I still don't understand the reporters. There's a couple kids there, and how you feeling? What are you feeling right now? And you just want to go through the TV, like, the stupidest question in the world is you asked a professional athlete, how you feeling after you lose, right? Like you played all year through injuries and just the work that goes into it. Like, how do you think they feel? And that's just the dumbest question ever. So you could see it on the kids. Like I said, you knew they gave it all, and they're hurt. And when you see an athlete, crying after they get beat, you know that he's in it for the right reasons and the work that goes into it. So I think they'll learn from it, and I think they're going to be good for a few years to come.
Yeah, well, they're certainly fun to watch for sure. And as a fan of goaltending, I'm a big fan of Igor Shesterkin. Now, speaking of goaltending, as we do turn our attention to the Stanley Cup Final, I'm going to go through some check marks. You tell me which team gets the check marks here, and let's start in goal of the Stanley Cup Final, Colorado versus Tampa Bay. Who's getting the check mark there?
No question, Tampa Bay. Like they have, if not the greatest goalie in the world, definitely close to it. As well as Kemper's played, he's still a backup, right? Like he was a backup in LA. I know he was backing up Jonathan Quick, but I just can't see you taking Colorado over them with goaltending. Goaltending definitely goes to Tampa Bay.
I'm with you. Has Colorado named a starting goalie yet? At last I saw, Jared Bednar, their head coach, didn't want to name it. Have you seen? I have not seen if they've named a game one starter yet.
Yeah, I have not. I'd be surprised if they go back to Kemper. Like the other kids just played too well. So I don't know. It's tough.
I'm with you. But an easy check mark to put beside Tampa Bay in goal. To the blue line, we've got two Norris finalists here, Cale Makar in Colorado, Victor Hedman of Tampa Bay. Two very good blue lines. Who are you giving the check mark to there?
Well, I still have to go to Tampa, as much as I think Colorado have the best one in the league by far, and Makar. But I mean, group, that defense in Tampa Bay, they're big, they're strong, they're mean. That's been the difference of every series. That's why Tampa's got to where they're at, and if they're going to win, that will be why, goaltending and defense. So I got to give the nod to Tampa again.
So there's two, goaltending and blue line. To the forwards, and again, we're talking about two great teams, Stanley Cup Final. There's great players on both sides, but who would you give the check mark to as far as the forward position here, Avalanche or Lightning?
Well, I think I have to go with Colorado just because of Nathan. But I think his supporting cast isn't as good as the other one. Like with Kucherov, Stamkos, that 1-2 punch is ridiculous. Once again, Tampa may be deeper in that department, and all depends if Kadri plays or not. But but if Point comes back too, they're just so defensive as a group, sound, and as far as skill goes, like you look at both power plays, they're both amazing, which you may be going to get to that, but I don't know. I think I'll give it to Colorado just because of Nathan, but it's close.
We got to give him a check mark on something, so it'll be forwards, and I would think he's the best forward in the series, and just like the 80s, you would check the forwards that for whichever team Gretzky was on, and you know what I'm talking about because you were there. And one of my favorite check marks is coaching. Here, Jared Bednar versus John Cooper. Who are you giving the check mark to there?
Well, I think you got to go with the defending Stanley Cup champs back to back. Cooper, to me, and he's a great coach. Both of them are great, no question. But I think when you look what Cooper's done, it's hard not to give them the check mark.
There you go. Well, with that, we would think there would be a Tampa Bay win in this Stanley Cup Final. So there's the thoughts of NHL ambassador Bernie Nicholls of BetRegal. And by the way, how did you get hooked up with the BetRegal guy? Somebody said that you're a friend of or a relation of one of the other ambassadors. How did this come to be, Bernie?
Yeah, it was actually my partner that I do my events in was good friends with Mike, the owner of BetRegal, and they were looking for some ambassadors, and so Scott Sutherland, who it was, he asked them about me, and so I ended up going to get Damon Allen and Matt Dunnigan. So it worked out great. Obviously, I like to bet and have fun that way. So it was a perfect match.
Well, I love it. Love having you on the team, and it's cool that you were recruiting for the team. And I guess if you love to bet, then what's your bet on this Stanley Cup Final?
You know what? I don't think anybody can beat Tampa. I don't. I just think their goaltending's too good. Their defense is too good. Even though the speed, Tampa, if they can handle the speed, because Colorado's got speed, they handled Toronto's speed, and Toronto probably had the fastest team in the East. So if the speed can get to them, maybe Colorado can win. But if I was to bet, you know, I still have to take Tampa, but hope Nathan wins, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I think we broke it down pretty well in terms of those. Yeah, exactly. Well, I think we broke it down pretty well with the check marks. I know which way I'm leaning now. Bernie, thanks for this, my man. Enjoy the hockey. We'll chat next week. You got it. Thanks for having me. NHL ambassador Bernie Nicholls from BetRegal. By the way, sign up. Get an account at BetRegal.ca today and use the hashtag Legends, the promo code Legends, and get a welcome bonus deposited right in your account from BetRegal. Again, use the promo code Legend. We've got a Taco Time viewer takeover coming up next. You're watching the RP Show on Game Plus TV. We're live streaming on YouTube as well. And if you missed any portion of the show, catch the podcast wherever the best podcasts are found, including Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersenshop.com. Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop staffed by PGA of Canada professionals is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM-certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Every kitchen is a restaurant. Ish. With Cavendish Farms restaurant-style fries.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games.
Play among legends at BetRegal.net.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
It's Viewer Takeover presented by Taco Time. Did you know Taco Time has been around for over 40 years? This iconic brand and a Canadian favorite serves over 3.2 million burritos, 2.5 million tacos, and over 1 million Mexi fries every year. There's always one near you. I don't know where to go. We've got comments coming in from every direction here. I'll go to the text line. The number's right up on the screen, 902-518-3033. I again welcome Mark in Burlington, who said he was leaving if I talked about Donald Trump again, but he's back. And I went to Mar-a-Lago Sunday, but Don wasn't there. But it's a national historical site. It was fun, and I appreciate you, Mark, checking in today. And for the Ticats fans that are watching, whether it be on YouTube right now or Game Plus TV, because we're carried on Cogeco Cable and Rogers all across Ontario, go to the Ticats website, Ticats Digital Network. I am on this week's show along with Bubba O'Neill. You know Bubba. Dave Naylor from TSN Television. Matt Cause from TSN Radio, talking about the Ticats' Week 1 loss at the Rough Riders. 30, what was the final? 30-13. Ken Pearson watching in Neepawa, Manitoba regarding the format of the Western Hockey League Final, which blew my mind and a lot of other people's. 2-2-3 format. I think this is the first in the history of the Western Hockey League. Game 6 tonight in Edmonton, but Seattle's the home team. Don't ask. Like, if Edmonton wins, they're going to the Memmer. If Seattle wins, where's Game 7? Thank you, Ken and Neepawa, for pointing that out. Cole in Nanaimo, BC. I checked him out on Twitter. Former quarterback of the Vancouver Island Raiders. Cole says, thanks for the shout-out. I mentioned him earlier because he's part of this CFL fan Twitter space. I'm just learning what this is. He said, if you could drop a little teaser, we're having newly signed Rough Riders DB on our Twitter space at some point this week. So what, guys and gals go in there and they answer questions? So it says it's a community? Cool. Last minute of play in hour 1. Daryl from Sherwood Park, Alberta, writes in. He says, I was at Oil Kings Game 2. Surprisingly, there was a good contingent of Seattle fans there. Oh, shoot. We played Seattle in the league final. We being the Regina Pats, God's team, in 2017? Yeah. Parking lot was jammed with Seattle fans. Now, there was a lot of Sask kids on Seattle, but still they travel well. They were tailgating, taking over our parking lot. They brought their fans with them. And they won the series, so you better watch out. Going to be a real fun hour, too. I can just feel it. A lot of CFL, NHL talk, junior hockey, whatever. And the Moose will be back with us. And Eddie Steele, Grey Cup champ, Elks analyst. That's all coming up after this break on Game Plus TV.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of fun. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
Every kitchen is a restaurant. Ish. With Cavendish Farms restaurant-style fries.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital Ford. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital Ford Lincoln. Your adventure starts here.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at BetRegal.net.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Good morning, Rod Squad.
Maybe tomorrow I'll tell you guys about the big game that I went to in San Antonio with Snoop Dogg. Remember that one, Clark? The Lakers and Spurs? Snoop Dogg and I went, Bob.
How about that?
Snoop Dogg was sitting courtside. I was up in the nosebleeds, but we were in the arena at the same time. I was there with him.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Oh, yeah. Snoop and I, big Hoops fans. Welcome to Hour 2 of the RP Show, everybody. And I feel like it's only taken 777 episodes for me to figure out that it's Hour 2 that we really bring in the audience participation. And that's a fun thing as we welcome back the co-host, Darren Moose DuPont, joining us from the NHL's Bermuda Triangle. Hey, Moose, we covered a lot of ground since you were last with us. Look, a couple things I wanted to say. I'm sure you were doing business in those 20 minutes, but Bernie Nicholls and I got it figured out. The NHL ambassador for BetRegal. This is going to be a walk by the Tampa Bay Lightning. I can see it now. We did the check mark thing. We went goaltending, blue line, forwards, coaching, and 3 of the 4 check marks went to the Tampa Bay Lightning. That will not please a lot of the hockey fans here in South Florida because they hate the Lightning in South Florida. I wanted to mention that, which I didn't an hour ago, Darren, visiting with my American friends. They love this show because they love what we talk about. And that includes the CFL topics, because there's a lot of football fans, the hockey topics, because they don't get any hockey down here, and then whatever zany things you and I get into. So I wanted to point that out. But looks like Tampa's going to roll. Why even play the series?
Yeah, I guess. Hey, why play? It'll be interesting, but there's no reason for any of us to believe that they won't roll. They've just continued to roll no matter what adversity that they face. So we'll see.
Oh, I just feel like, and let's just settle into a good old sports talk discussion here. And it is afternoon out here in the East, middle of the day, morning out there, I know, in the West for you. But I feel like if Bernie Nicholls, if we wanted to just roll by his house, knock on the door, throw a blanket on him, throw him in the back of the van, and took him to L.A. on one of our sports trips, I think he could take us to some pretty cool places as a guy that spent most of the 80s playing for the Los Angeles Kings. Is that something you might be interested in?
Yeah, I don't think we'd have to coax him into the back of a van with a blanket or, put a bag over his head. I think we should bring him on our sports trip. That's a great idea.
I guess we could just ask. We don't need to kidnap him. But there's some legendary stories that, listen, you know it, I know it, and for those that don't know it that are watching right now, you people, we are all exactly where we're supposed to be in life. You may argue it, but if you argue it, you're wrong. We're all where we're supposed to be. And for me to come on the air and tell these stories after all my life experiences, I'm 3+ years now out of full-time the play-by-play realm. So I collected all these stories over the years. And I heard this story about Bernie Nicholls, that when Bruce McNall owned the LA Kings and Wayne Gretzky played for the Kings, that John Candy hung around the team all the time. Him and McNall were buddies. And obviously Wayne too. But I guess Bernie Nicholls and John Candy used to ride around Hollywood in the back of a limo and recite lines from planes, trains, and automobiles. And Bernie Nicholls would play the Steve Martin character, and John Candy would play the Del Griffiths character. What a time to be alive. And, we talk about winning time with the Lakers dynasty that we're watching on HBO Max, the streaming series. Imagine being around, but as a member of the Kings. You weren't doing any winning. You were just watching what the Lakers were doing and wishing you played basketball. Wouldn't that be the sense that you have?
That's pretty much it. You'd kind of be under the radar, think, hey, we're here too, but they're not winning, so nobody really cares, right? I mean.
Yeah. Stephen, watching in North Dakota says, Rod and Moose, international kidnapping. Fire started. It's not kidnapping if he wants to go, okay? Moose made that very clear. We're not kidnapping him if he wants to be part of it, but you're working on the sports trip. And before we get into the sports topics that we've been kicking around for an hour, why don't you tell the viewers that, because we do these sports trips every year, what you're looking at for this year?
Yeah, so we got to wait for a few more schedules to come out. The NHL schedule will come out shortly, and then we'll be able to lock down our location. But looking at a couple of warm destinations, LA obviously is a leading candidate. There are a couple others, but we're working on getting this done here in the next little bit and hopefully have it on sale for you really soon.
Pardon me. I just caught Robert in Prince Albert, one of the comments here regarding the sports trip. He says, this year's RP show sports trip, location, Boca Raton. We can all crash on Rod's floor. LOL. I just went, that literally was what I was reading when I saw that. Nope. But I was thinking about this. I thought that you'd already had tickets bought in LA for the Rams. I thought you had. That was the sense that I got. So you clearly haven't. You're just kicking tires on that. That's cool. But when I was looking
reserved, we got them set aside.
Yeah. Well, when I was looking at, moving this show around and where I was going to be hanging my hat, South Florida was obviously very attractive. And a friend of mine in Vegas says, no. You got to bring the show to Las Vegas. You got to do the show in Vegas. It's the fastest growing sports city in America. And he said, listen, you don't want to go to South Florida. It's old, tired, and worn out. And I said, yeah, I'm old, tired, and worn out. That's why I want to go to South Florida. It's perfect for me. So, yeah, this is the deal where they air Golden Girls on a loop 24/7 on television. It's fantastic. So, Moose, this is where we are. So, whatever everybody wants to talk about, we covered it all here in hour one. You may want to go back, reset your PVR, wind back on YouTube, however y'all do it. We talked about the NLL going to a deciding Game 3 in Buffalo next Saturday night. Some CEBL results. Game 6s in major junior championships tonight. The WHL could end in Edmonton. The OHL could end in Windsor if Hamilton wins. So we're looking at that. Stanley Cup, we've got Tampa Bay winning. We've put that to bed. And for the Canadian Football League fans, they want to talk about coming out of week 1, going into week 2. There's a huge contingent of CFL fans to watch this show when they want their news there. So I saw Jeff, the Stamps fan, write in earlier, and he said that, he goes, I wonder what the status of Zach Collaros is, the starting quarterback of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Well, I spent a lot of time reading, Darren, as you know, and Collaros apparently said to his friends and family after the game, and one of the reporters in Winnipeg saw it, he goes, I'm okay. That from Zach Collaros. That's as close as we're going to get. I don't think the Blue Bombers have met with the media yet this week. So with Bo Levi and Zach Collaros not finishing games, but supposedly going to be fine, I would think the CFL is pretty happy with the way week 1 played out.
Yeah, I think they are. You'd be pretty nervous with two of your marquee players and kind of, poster guys not finishing games. That'd be very concerning. But if they're okay, that's great. And that's what you want to hear. And I think everybody's happy with how the opening week in the league went.
Good. Robin in Prince Albert says, legendary. Made Rod choke on his coffee. It's just water. That's all that it is. It's as strong as it gets. How about this one? John in Edmonton. Rod, are you moving to South Florida? When do you think he's going to catch on?
Done deal.
When do you think?
Yeah. I don't know.
Hey, John, did Daryl in Sherwood Park says, sports trip. Man, I got to get on this. Do you want to tell us some stories about our last sports trip? We saw Deshaun Watson and the Houston Texans. As it turns out, good thing we saw Deshaun when we did. I almost wonder if this guy's going to be playing in the NFL again. But that was a heck of a lot of fun. Why did we pick Houston? Why did we not go to an NHL city? Refresh my memory. Not that I had a problem.
Yeah, I know.
With it,
I'm trying to remember that too. And I think the way it worked out is different warm destinations. And Houston was a city we hadn't gone to yet, and it was kind of one we wanted to see, but there was always that no NHL factor, which was a big kind of question mark. But we were able to see 2 Houston Rockets games. The basketball team was very good to us, and they had James Harden and Russell Westbrook, so they were a marquee franchise in the NBA at the time. The Nassau experience, getting to see the high school football game at Katy, Texas, there was a lot of other things that made it a destination for us.
Yeah, Houston was great. Randy in Winnipeg watching, he says, Vegas in October. NHL, NFL, gambling, great sports trip. I gotta stop with all the questions from all the same people, but John says Saskatchewan Rush versus the Vegas Desert Dogs in Vegas. That could be a good road trip. Hey, we got to talk about the NLL because nobody else is. And I got the email, I'm sure you did too, from the NLL that the expansion draft will be held July 7th for the Vegas Desert Dogs. I put this in my column on the weekend, but I want to talk about it now. I've been around a lot of expansion drafts in my life. I know obviously NHL guys, some CFL guys. Nobody ever wants to go be selected in an expansion draft. Junior players don't want to go in an expansion draft because you're going to be going to a crappy team. Unless it's Vegas, and by the way, it's 1:11 Eastern. Interesting that we would be talking about this now. Dreams are coming true, Moose. I could see guys wearing a path into the general manager's office going, put me on the list, put me on the list, put me on the list of eligible players. Would you not, where would you rather play in NLL markets than, well, maybe San Diego? Saskatchewan has the best fans. But I would think Vegas would be the most preferred destination for an NLL player, I would think. Wouldn't you?
You think of the ownership group with Wayne Gretzky being a part of it, right? And Steve Nash. I think there's a lot of good things going on there. It's a great market. The climate's awesome. I think there's a lot of excitement. So, yeah, I think players will love to go to Vegas. And I'm curious to see how much they can attract free agents and how quickly they can turn that into a winning team.
I would love to see an expansion team in South Florida in the National Lacrosse League. We've kicked it around. It may not work here because the weather is so optimum and people don't generally like to be inside. However, again, I assume you read my 10 Things column, Moose, on Sunday. The Florida Everblades hockey team, which stars Mateo Gennaro, formerly of the Calgary Hitmen, had over 7,600 people in the Hertz Arena Saturday night to watch them win the Kelly Cup ECHL Championship. Over 7,600 in Naples, Florida in June to watch ice hockey. So anything's possible. Jim Vancha writes that he says, back in the day when the NHL flew commercial, my wife and I were on the plane with the Kings from L.A. to Edmonton. I sat between Bernie and a defenseman. Shortest 2.5-hour plane trip. Bernie was entertaining. Oh, I think he'd be very entertaining, Bernie Nicholls. And it was interesting. With 2 Mondays ago, we were talking about how Wayne had said on the NHL on TNT broadcast that we didn't have goalie coaches back in the day. We didn't have strength coaches. And Bernie goes, and we didn't have charters either. Think about that. They flew with fans, Darren, up until about 25 years ago. Can you imagine?
That's just mind-blowing to think. Mind-blowing that they would actually do that. Like, now, I mean, today it's mind-blowing because, the chartered flights and everything else, and they're leaving right after the games. Now, to get on a commercial flight, I mean, I see that now when I fly, and you probably do too, flying all across North America. You'll see, some, university teams or junior hockey or different whatever athletes all getting onto the plane. Usually it's, the UBC athletes I see or, athletes like that. You'll see a team, but very rare.
I was thinking about this the other day, and by the way, Jeff Cabillas in Winnipeg says, if lacrosse goes to South Florida, we may never see Rod ever again in Canada. LOL. Oh, I know. I've had opportunities in the NLL, believe me, since I left the Rough Riders, but I'm like, thanks. I'm just waiting on a specific one. Not that, but in the NLL. One thing we used to, traveling with the Rough Riders when we were flying commercially, I always loved this. I remember Glenn January. Do you remember him? Ginormous offensive tackle, played at Texas Tech. He was an Argo. He was a Rough Rider. Him and I used to sit across the aisle from each other, and we would have the wildest political discussions. But I just remember, people would get on the plane and go, oh, are you guys a team? And every time, January would have a different sport. Yes, we're a swim team. Or, yes, we're a polo team. You should see the horses. They're underneath. Like,
I like
so much fun, right? And then as I learned to as I became a lot older, it used to be, because remember, I got into the CFL, I was 26. People were like, oh, what position do you play? Receiver? Because I would say, guess. And then as I got older, when we were going through security, people would say, are you a referee? No, I have a personality. Or I remember being in the airport in Dallas. Right. I remember being in the airport in Dallas wearing a Rough Rider shirt, and this guy, clearly former player, wanted to be a player. He's like, Coach, where do I send my resume? I'm like, not to me. Anyways, enough story time. When we come back, if you have questions, I see Mandy says questions for Eddie Steele. Eddie's coming up, Grey Cup champion. He says, tell us about the recovery of your Grey Cup ring, and do you think there was recovery for the Elks this season? So we'll talk some hockey, we'll talk some CFL, whatever you people would like us to discuss next. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus TV network. We're also live streaming on YouTube. And you can always catch the podcast wherever you enjoy your podcasts, including Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Capital, here they come. Welcome your Bull Riders.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital Ford. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital Ford Lincoln. Your adventure starts here.
Every kitchen is a restaurant. Ish. With Cavendish Farms restaurant-style fries.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM-certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services, and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Brand new week. Welcome back, everybody. It is your favorite daytime sports and entertainment talk show. We talk a lot of sports and a little entertainment, and we try to be entertaining. To the chagrin and disappointment of some Tacona Pallies writing Moose in Winnipeg, he's written in again. Where is it? Hey, Rod, are you going to mention Brooks' 11th LPGA win? Tacona, I did last hour. Zip it. Watch for the whole 2 hours. You do the watching. I'll do the talking. Thanks. You're really starting to annoy me. From BW in Edmonton says, hit the like button. Start spreading the news. Press like. Tell everybody that we're live on Game Plus and YouTube right now. Here's one. Jason Sereda is watching in Winnipeg on Game Plus TV right now, Moose, and he says, do the Winnipeg Blue Bombers win the Grey Cup this year? And let's spend a little time on that, if you don't mind. I don't know if you watched the Bombers Red Blacks game Friday night. I don't want to put you on the spot. If you didn't, it's fine. I did. Winnipeg looked very good. It was a good game. Probably one of the best games of the week in terms of closeness, big plays. 1917, Winnipeg beat Ottawa. And I especially tuned in for that Grey Cup banner raising celebration that they had for the Bombers. And I'm like, oh, God, here come the speeches. Here comes the RCMP carting out the trophy. It's going to take forever. But the only guy that spoke was Wade on his birthday. It was very classy. It was very brief. Let's raise the banner, kick it off. Let's go. I like the way they did that.
Yeah, I mean, keep it simple. And you know what? Maybe they've been there before. Act like you've been there before. Well, they have now twice. And, you know, if Zach stays healthy, there's no reason to think they can't win a third in a row. It'll be tough. There's obviously other great teams, and neither of the first two championships were easy, but they absolutely will be in the mix, no doubt.
They're writing in here about season tickets in BC, that they're like $89. From Ted in Red Deer, says, "Hey Rod, I assume you and the Moose don't care which platform we watch the show on as long as we watch, correct?"
Bingo!
I don't know. You're the business. Like, I don't really care as long as you watch. That's my thing. It's like I say about CFL fans. I don't care who you cheer for as long as you cheer for somebody, or any fans of any team. I have so many people come up and stop me on the street. "Oh, Rod, sorry, I'm a Bomber fan." I'm like, I don't care. I'm glad you're cheering for somebody. Or, "Hey, Rod, sorry, I'm a Warriors fan." Again, just glad to have you buying tickets. I just want you watching the show. Does it matter to you how they watch it?
No, doesn't matter at all. You watch it however is most convenient for you. If you don't want to watch it, you just want to listen to it, that's cool too. You do what's good for you.
You do you, as they say.
Yeah. That's right.
Back to the question at hand. Carlos Legina's watching in Indianapolis, and he's one of those American guys, Carlos, that watches the show for the CFL content, because you can literally get the NFL stuff anywhere. And we'll dabble more on the NFL when they're playing. I can't wait for the Dolphins season, and probably, hopefully, we'll be able to hit up some portion of training camp here. But I'd rather talk about the leagues that are playing rather than the fake news. Hey, it's all cool that Brady almost became a Dolphin, but he didn't, last I saw. Carlos says in Indianapolis, he says, "I see the Blue Bombers are all set at the quarterback position, including their bench." Yeah, what was the guy's name? Drew? I don't even know his name. The guy that came off the bench to win the game for Winnipeg the other night. Listen, there are certain people and fans and teams that don't want to admit what Winnipeg's done. And I don't think Winnipeg cares. They are the marquee team. They said they didn't need their quarterback to play in the preseason. We're good. And look, he wasn't rusty. Zach was great the other night. Winnipeg from top to bottom, man, they're going to be hard to beat. And actually, it's only Monday. We got all week to talk about this further. But the Hall of Fame game goes this Saturday, Calgary at Hamilton, and I will never, ever, ever forget. You've heard it, Darren, but be patient while I say it again. 2017 Canadian Football Hall of Fame induction. I was there in the crowd in Hamilton. What a beautiful night. It was 28 degrees Celsius, whatever that works out to Fahrenheit. And I saw Mike O'Shea get inducted into the Hall of Fame. And his speech, I don't even like Mike O'Shea. And I had tears going down my face. For a variety of reasons. One, his road to get there and everything he's gone through, because it hasn't been easy for Mike O'Shea. He talked about his upbringing with his parents, Irish, blue-collar workers. And you got out of bed every day to make a living. Nothing came easy. And that's the way he runs his football team as a head coach. And I came back to Regina going, they're going to be winning it all before long, because that guy knows you got to grind. Nothing comes easy, and it needs to be put in place brick by brick by brick and do it right. Exactly what happened. I'm not taking credit for anything Winnipeg's done, but I just know Mike O'Shea, as long as he's around, there are not going to be a lot of other teams doing much winning because he does it right. And you can see that on the field.
Yeah. Yeah, clearly he's got a great foundation for success there that's going to last. And that's what it starts with. It starts with culture, and it starts with that foundation, and it comes from the top. And Mike's that visible presence every day in the locker room. And, they're going to lose players. They're going to have turnover on that roster, but they're continuing to have success. And that's what you want, that longevity. And I think Winnipeg is set to have some success here for a really long time.
Yes, and the other thing is, I've had friends that have been guest coaches at Bomber camps in this O'Shea era, and they've left training camp going, oh boy, they're doing it right there. and everybody does it different. There's more than one way to feed a cat, Darren, as you know. But fundamentally, concept-wise, don't jerk your players around. Be honest with them. Do things the right way. Don't be shady. And I go back to the winning time. Again, would you say you've watched 1 or 2 episodes of the Lakers time? Like, I'm obsessed now. You told me a month ago to watch it, and I finally got around. I'm obsessed. Because if you want to know how teams operate, for the most part, watch that Lakers documentary. No, the guy at the top is running the show. And if Wade Miller really wanted a few years ago when the Bombers started 1-4 to have those guys gone, O'Shea or even the general manager Kyle Walters, they would be gone. Because it's the guy at the top that's pulling the strings and nobody knows it. Wade's not doing that many interviews. Not many of these team presidents are. And the owners never are. Never. All through this CBA mess with the CFL, who was it? Ambrosi. You never saw an owner come out and talk. You never really saw a president come out and talk. But they're the guys pulling the strings. And it's this book that's, you got to read it, man. I don't think you ever did. It's called The Dark Side of the Game, written by Tim Green, former NFL D lineman. And there's a chapter in there called Why Some Teams Always Win and Sometimes Always Lose. And it starts at the top. And with Jerry Buss, I mean, again, Darren, binge it tonight, okay, and get back to me tomorrow. We'll have a we'll have a test in the morning because there was their coach. He had to fire a coach and he had to bring in an interim, and then the interim got sick, and he had to make a call on who's going to take over this team. His first year as the owner, he had to make the call. The buck stops on their desk. So again, that's the thing with Winnipeg, and I'm sorry to go all the way off on this, but. Man, they're doing it right over there in Winnipeg, and they deserve to have as long a ceremony as they bloody well want.
Yeah, they can do whatever they want until somebody knocks them off the top of the castle. And you know, bravo, and I hope they continue to have some more success. And clearly they're going to. Might not be more championships, but they're gonna have a lot of success.
They're always right. They're always going to be there in the end. Our guy Jack in Vulcan, Alberta says, ask Eddie Steele why Nick Arbuckle was pulled after 1 quarter the other night. A potential QB1 should be given a few games at least to develop a chemistry with his receivers. Did you say that I didn't see any of that game. I saw that Nick got pulled in the second quarter early on. He wasn't feeling it, I guess. And Jones is getting criticized for pulling Arbuckle so early. Do you have a take on that?
You know, that's the coach's decision. He has a better feel in that locker room and with his group than anybody. Arbuckle had a great preseason. He had some chemistry. Yeah, it wasn't there early, and normally you can give him more time. But that wasn't a luxury that Edmonton had because all BC was doing was racking up more points. So you needed to do whatever you could to try and string something together to get some momentum and put some points on the board, but nothing was working for Edmonton.
We'll get Eddie's take on that, and thank you, Jack. Remind me if I forget to ask Eddie that, because there's a lot of questions coming in for Eddie. The very popular former Ticat Eskimo and Rough Rider D lineman. Here's one. Tim Manto watching on YouTube. A hockey question for you, Darren. He says, the Leafs got to be watching the Bolts on and off the ice. They lead by example. I appreciate the comment, and let's spend the rest of the segment on that. We got about 4 minutes. I think there's a little more to it than that. And I saw this on Sportsnet's Instagram this morning. It is so Toronto, and I apologize to Toronto for saying it, but it's so Toronto. They're like the last 3 Stanley Cup Eastern Conference finalists, or Stanley Cup finalists from the East, beat Toronto to get there. I got to go back and find. Did you see that on Instagram, by the way?
I did.
Yeah. Tampa. You did. Okay. Yeah, here it is. Boston, Montreal, and Tampa. And I'm like, so what are you saying? It's okay to lose if you lose to the eventual conference champion? What are you saying? What you're saying to me when I see that is, you weren't good enough. Yeah. And to sit and talk about Tampa as a market and Toronto needs to look at Tampa, there's more to it than that. But that's my thoughts. I have more, but tell me yours on his thing. The Leafs need to follow what the Lightning are doing.
Well, that's always been the model in hockey. But that never works. The copycat model rarely works because what happens is everybody was trying to follow the Pittsburgh Penguins model when they were winning cups. But by the time you copy that model, it's a new model that wins, right? So you could mirror Tampa for sure, but by the time you've mirrored it and executed what Tampa's doing, there's another formula that's going to be better, right? So you have to do your own thing, but there are values there and there are characteristics that are important, like strong leadership and commitment to success and all the winning habits that you have to do day in and day out. Those things never change. So yeah, that's really important. I think what that graphic on Instagram shows is they're trying to show, well, how close the Leafs are. Well, close doesn't really count, right? So yeah, it's cool, and they are close, and they gave Tampa quite a run, better than anybody so far, but you still aren't in the big dance. So until you win, not much you can say.
Well, it's a tough one, and maybe later on this week we can bring on some Toronto hockey analysts that you respect. It would be a good time to get Elliot Friedman on, but he's probably at the lake right now with his feet up. Probably has been sleeping for a week straight, or a couple days straight anyway. I guess the hockey season's still going on, but who works harder than Friedman? But here's my point with Toronto and Tampa. It's different. I've dropped this on the air before and I felt guilty, so I'm not going to name who the guy is, but I had a Leafs great tell me that he told Steven Stamkos the last time Stammer was a free agent and Stamkos was considering signing in Toronto, he's like, don't do that, Steven. Stay in Tampa where you can be relatively unknown and you don't have your family on your back bugging you for tickets every game. And if you go to the golf course and have a beer, there's not going to be a picture on the front cover of the Toronto Sun the next day saying you're an alcoholic. You could have a life in Tampa that you can't have in Toronto. And I think there's I've heard it so much that I got to think there's something to it, that it's not just about hockey in Toronto. It's about the pressure. It's about the glare. I'm not saying it's necessarily right, because if that was the case, the Lakers would have never won or the Yankees would have never won. But there seems to be something there. And I feel like we don't have time to get into it today, here, now, but maybe in overtime, Moose. Are you smelling what I'm cooking?
There's something there for sure. I do, but it's hard to exactly put your finger on it, but it is. There's something going on.
Okay, Moose, we'll see you for overtime.
You bet.
The very popular, clearly, Eddie Steele joins us next to talk a little Elks and a lot of CFL. We'll be right back. It's a Monday, episode number 777 of the RP Show continues after this break on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpeterson.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Peterson Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Peterson Show now.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital Ford. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital Ford Lincoln. Your adventure starts here. Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at BetRegal.net.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
Capital, here they come. Welcome your Bull Riders. Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Beautiful day here. Another one. Hey, look at that. We're on. How about that? Well, that was quick. Football
that?
capital, South Florida. Are we good? Are we on, guys? Are we good? Okay. Let's go to Edmonton now. And we have got, as I said, Eddie, the very popular former Eskimo, Rough Rider and Tie Cat, Eddie Steele. There he is. He's down. What's going on, Eddie? You're not eating up there? What's going on, man?
No, man, I'm just trying to get myself down to a normal walking around weight now that I'm done playing. I don't need it all.
Well, you always look good. Come on, everybody. Join me on this. For a second, I thought it was Jock Climby that we had on the air here. Anyways, Eddie, they got a lot of questions for you coming out of the weekend, and the obvious one is the Elks getting stomped 59-15 at BC Saturday night. What is your analysis of that? And the Elks fans want to know if this is a sign of things to come.
It was ugly. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You know, it was a flat-out beating in all phases of the game, to be honest. I think the line play of the Elks on both sides of the ball really struggled. We know defensively the Elks really got it taken to them. I don't think it's going to be a sign of the season. I think that they're going to be a fairly competitive team, as most Chris Jones teams are. But even look at what happened when he took over Saskatchewan in 2016. I think he won one game in his first 10. And then the next couple of years, he went on a good little run there as a head coach. But it takes time to get your systems in place. It takes time to get your players in place. He inherited a team where, yeah, he was able to bring some of his guys, but there was a lot of previous guys here that were under contract from the new regime. So it all doesn't just happen like that overnight. It takes a lot of time to install your systems. But, you know, these guys got to get competitive, and that's what it comes down to. And that can happen overnight. And that is a certain desire. That's a certain want to. And that just comes down to guys wanting to earn their money and show up and provide for their families and put out good tape. And there was a lot of guys that just didn't show up, and there'll probably be a lot of guys on having dinner on Delta in the next couple of weeks, I would imagine.
D-O-D. And the other question, Lions that good or Elks that bad Saturday night, do you think?
Neither. I think the Lions had a good game and the Elks didn't have a good game, but I don't think the Lions are world beaters. I don't think they're going to go out and put up 45, 60 points every game this season. And I don't think the Elks are going to go out and get stomped like that every game either. One game, it's so cliche, but it was just 1 week. On to the next, you flush it. You have a very real film session, and it's going to be probably filled with a lot of bad words that we can't say on TV, but you get that dealt with. You see where you made the mistakes. But again, a lot of it was just in here. Your desire as a competitor, tackles, missed tackles, that's not coachable. That's something that me as a football player need to figure out, and I need to get my P's and Q's together in order to be able to have the most success for myself to provide for my family, and that's internal. That's a total internal thing.
Eddie, you brought up 2016 in Sask, Jones' first year. You were there, as was I. I'm wondering if Jones learned something that he would do different this year, or if he's going to do the same thing again. You mentioned the one win in the first 10. That team went on to win 5 games that year. Jones inherited a 3-win team there and now in Edmonton. So should we expect 5 wins for the Elks this year? You know what I'm saying? Does history repeat itself, or does he do things a little differently?
I think, with the Saskatchewan example, we know Jones came in and he cut some beloved players, Weston Dressler and John Chick, just to try and put his stamp on the team. I think the case in Edmonton, I think there was a little more talent currently on the roster. Because let's be honest, the roster makeup last year wasn't terrible. On paper, going into last season, everybody thought the Elks were going to be one of the better teams. So, yeah, you lose a couple of pieces. That's always going to happen. You have turnover, but their roster isn't as bad as that score says that they are. So they just got to get back to it, figure it out, man. And it's early, 18-game season. One game's not going to make or break, but you can't string these 1 games together. 1 can't be 2, and 2 can't turn into 3. Got to stop that right now heading into this next week.
Speaking of that, Arlen Bruce III is watching, and he writes in and says, Eddie, what's good, bro? I'm in Edmonton. Eddie, have the Elks bring me aboard to motivate the organization on and off the field. He also says that we should not have any generalizations on players' individual performance until week 8 because it's so early. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, to a degree, I do agree with that. You have no idea what a guy is capable of until you put a couple of games together. Me personally, I've had some bad games, and I'm thankful that the coaching staff didn't base my sole career off a couple of bad games, or else I wouldn't have made it. But it's your ability to bounce back, your ability to go to the film room, to look at yourself and your play honestly and critically, and adjust. And the best players are able to do that. The best teams are able to do that. And Chris Jones typically has good bounce back games, so we'll see what he does. I know I am so thankful I am retired and not a player in that locker room, because I have been in those locker rooms. I've been in those meetings when you lay a goose egg under Chris Jones, and man, it's not a good place to be. You want to drink your coffee and slouch in the back of the room because you do not want to be seen, heard, or have your name called.
You should be very happy because you retired a champion and you can walk. You got a young family that life's great for Eddie Steele, and you got a great reputation. You were never a dirty player, which leads me into my next question. As a defensive player, how do you feel about Simone Lawrence hit on Cody Fajardo the other night?
The game happens fast, it really does. It wasn't the cleanest hit, and we're going to talk about this because Simone has a track record. But when I was watching the play, man, it sure he could have let up, but it happened so quick. It's not like he intentionally was trying to bury the guy's back. Cody was going down and Simone was trying to make a tackle. It's no different than if I, as a defensive lineman, am starting to go down and the offensive guard that's on my back just tackles me. People don't see that because it's in the trenches, and that is super dirty, and that happens almost every play, but people don't see that. People saw the Simone on Cody hit because it's the quarterback. Yeah, he had the ball, and so all eyes are on the ball carrier, so everybody's going to see the hit. But in complete honesty, when you're playing at the speed that these guys are playing at, I've seen a lot worse hits out of Simone. I didn't think that was the dirtiest hit he's ever had.
Well, I feel he knew what he was doing, and it's always him. It's always him. Now, if you were the director of officiating in the CFL, and life would be great if you were, would you be fining him? Would we see his name on the list this Thursday when fines are announced?
Well, yeah, you would, and the only reason is because of the repeat offense, right? And like I said, if it was someone other than Simone, man, nobody's even talking about that hit. It was just a big hit on Cody. But because it's Simone, again, now we do have to start questioning the intent. I can't sit here and question another man's intent unless it was clearly very malicious. I know the game of football, and you're playing at 100% high speed, and things happen. It's a bang, bang. Sure, maybe he could have tried to go about that tackle a little safer, but at the end of the day, he was just trying to make a football play. I don't think he was intentionally really trying to hurt a guy, because like I said, I've seen Simone intentionally do a lot worse, and to me, this was more in the realm of a football hit than an actual going out of your way dirty hit.
Thank you, Jack, for the reminder. We're running out of time, but he wanted me to ask you about Nick Arbuckle being pulled after the first quarter. Too soon? Why did Jones do that?
Jones has a history of doing that. The only time he hasn't done that with a quarterback was with Mike Riley when he was the stalwart, the horse. Could do it all, take the hits, and stay in the game. But even in Saskatchewan, Kevin Glenn, Brandon Bridge, that's always how Jones likes to rotate through his guys, have an athletic quarterback, have a quarterback who can pass. Nick could have had a little bit longer of a leash, but at the same point, I loved what Darren said. Man, you're trying to empty the chamber. You're trying to get a spark. You're trying to get your team back in the game. Why not go to Ford? You had nothing to lose at that point. It's not like Nick was, maintaining long drives and stringing together good passes. He had a couple of completions, but he wasn't moving the ball. He wasn't putting up a ton of points, a ton of stats. So why not go to the young fella, get him some live action, and quite frankly, a game that was over essentially pretty early on. So give the kid some live reps and let him see what he can do, get his feet wet, because he's gonna be leaned upon at some point in this season. So why not get him those game action reps early on?
And in 30 seconds or less, Mandy wants to know how you got your 2015 Grey Cup ring back.
Mandy, I wish I could tell you the exact details. Someone returned it to me. And there's a lot of details left out, and that is all I know. That's all I can tell. I wish I knew more. The curiosity inside me wants to know more, but there's a part of me that just doesn't want to know either.
Good. Well, I'm glad that it had a happy ending. There are good people in the world, and Eddie, you are one of those. Thanks for the time, man. Enjoy the football. Let's do it again soon.
Thanks, Rod. You take care. Keep doing your thing.
Sportsnet's Eddie Steele, Grey Cup champion. We'll be back with Taco Time viewer takeover right after this. You're watching on the Game Plus TV network, available all across Alberta and BC on TELUS Optic Cable. Also live streaming on YouTube and 24-hour sports radio, rodpeterson.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Peterson Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Peterson Show now.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at BetRegal.net.
Every kitchen is a restaurant. Ish. With Cavendish Farms restaurant-style fries.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services, and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Calgary, Alberta, here they come. Welcome your Bull Riders!
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Here we go. We are live. It is Overtime, brought to you by the Four Seasons Sports Palace, your home for the UFC and the Stanley Cup Playoffs. And just before we bring in the Moose for viewer takeover, a sports update. The Toronto Blue Jays, with 7 wins in 11 June outings, open a 4-game series with the Baltimore Orioles tonight at Rogers Center. Righty Alek Manoah will pitch for the Jays in Game 1. The NBA Finals took the weekend off, but Game 5 and the best of 7 goes tonight at the Chase Center in San Fran. Celtics and Golden State Warriors are all tied up 2-2. And get ready for another Canada-U.S. showdown in international women's hockey. Canada, with goals from Madison Chandler and Jade Aginla, defeated Finland 2-1 in one Sunday semifinal at the Women's Under-18 World Championship in Wisconsin. The win set up a gold medal game tonight against the USA, who beat Sweden 3-2 in Sunday's other semifinal. The sports update for dubnetwork.ca and for Ben Cahoon's G2G protein bars. Order yours today at g2gbars.ca. Okay, let's get the Moose in here. And Moose had to ask Eddie Steele his take on the Simone Lawrence hit. He thinks he should be fined. Cliff is watching in Kelowna on Game Plus TV, and he says, the game goes fast for every player. All players play hard. Why is it Simone that is guilty of these hits so often? What did you think when you saw the hit? You said you were out for supper the other night. Were you watching it live when the hit happened?
No, I wasn't, but I did see the hit, and I watched it, on replay, like fast, but not just in the highlights. And yeah, I thought, ooh, Cody was down. That's not a good shot. Looked like Simone lowered the head. Now, Simone hit him with the shoulder. It looked like there was a lot of factors that go into it, but that's what happens when you have a player that's, at the top of his game like Simone and playing right on the edge. And for Simone to be effective, he's got to be playing right on that edge, right? It just happens that he crosses it and makes these hits sometimes. And, he doesn't look, and I mean, I don't speak for him, but he's not looking to see, is it the quarterback, the running back? It's a player with the ball, and I'm trying to bring him down. Now, just happens he's always hitting him in the head, and you can't do that, and we got to protect the quarterbacks. That's just the plain and simple fact of the game.
Well, I feel like I'm going to defer to the Moose for all football-related technical questions, because Eddie said, I agree with Darren. I don't know if you saw that, regarding Nick Arbuckle being pulled. He's like, what do you got to lose? You're getting your ass kicked anyways, which is, I'll paraphrase, that's what you said. And Eddie agreed with you. So, yeah. I'll give you the hockey questions, too, but football, your jam. I'll defer to you on those. Nice work. Brady in the Bridge City is watching, and he writes in on the 902 line. He's watching on Game Plus TV, and he says, hey, Rod, it's extremely refreshing to see the CFL having new ownership with bright and unique ideas to draw attention to teams and the league. One Republic concert, cheap season tickets, Elks and Lions. He says, I love what pinball brings to the Argos. Game 5 of the NBA Finals tonight. Go Dubs. And he also picks the Avalanche to win in 6. He does not agree with Bernie Nicholls. One thing, I mean, I don't know whom I've been talking to. I guess it's the football people down here, but some people say with the big crowds in Edmonton and BC, it's like, wow, they're charging cheap tickets, especially Edmonton. I'm like, and? I can't believe how many people are, yeah, but, well, they had a concert. Yeah, like with a big name. Last minute of play in the RP show. Last minute. There's a lot of, I hate the yeah, but crowd there. I hate them. Hate's a strong word, but I hate them. Yeah, but. No, they're doing it. You know, and I was on that Ticats show today that's going to be dropping in the next 24 hours, and they're like, let's wait and see. Thursday night, it's the Argos and Als. Could be ugly. We'll see what the crowd is, but let's hope for the best. But again, all positive coming out of week 1, particularly with the BC Lions. Good on them, man.
Great job. Awesome. And I hope that, big crowd, good atmosphere, concert, and a big win can help them have a great season in terms of ticket sales.
Moose, you go and enjoy yourself. We'll see you tomorrow at noon Eastern.
All right. Enjoy the day, Rod.
You betcha. Everybody enjoy the NBA Finals tonight if that's your thing. We'll see you back here at noon Eastern here on Game Plus TV.
McFly, hello.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. Approve. I like it. That's hot.